I'm back, baby.
Duke Nukem Forever is a bad game. Ooh, look at that hot take. I'm sure no one has ever said that. I don't know. It's one of those games that just comes off your lips when you think of examples of bad games. I wasn't looking forward to playing this. I really wasn't. You see, I'm a patient gamer. I don't believe in hype trains or bandwagons because I have this affliction called thinking. I have to think about how I feel towards something. However, the internet is an unavoidable thing, right? When I inevitably heard that the general consensus of this game was that it was a steaming pile of dog shit, I can't help but have that color my perspective. Duke Nukem Forever was released on June 10th, 2011. The dust has long since settled, and now I think I can honestly review it. Duke Nukem Forever has been on my shelf for like forever. Okay, pun intended, kill me, I get it. And I decided to give it a shot. To preface, I don't come from that era that grew up with Duke Nukem. I have no idea who the fuck this guy is, and I wasn't one of the many people who was looking forward to this game. I have no bias at all towards the IP, I don't even care. In essence, I should be the ideal candidate to play this game, as this game was meant to give a new generation a taste of Duke Nukem. It just sounds gross. For those who want a too long didn't watch, I give the game a 3 out of 10. Yeah, I give my viewers the answers early now. I'm ahead of the YouTube metagame. I find it to be an objectively bad game. It's functional. It's not like Sonic 06, right? It's not broken. But there's so many basic flaws with the game that just drag it down, which I'll go over in the video if you stick with me. Even if this game came out as a release title for the Xbox 360, which is the version I'm playing, I think it would have suffered the same fate as it does now, being a pack filler game that is just bad. If you would like to add this game to your collection for whatever reason, maybe you consider yourself a gaming historian like me, I recommend buying it as part of a buy two get one free deal at your local game store. It's not below average, like a 4 out of 10 where there's a good game hidden somewhere deep inside there. No. It's just bad, fundamentally bad. Now, if you guys enjoy the content on my channel, please feel free to subscribe. I just gotta say that, early retention rates and all that good stuff. It really helps me out. Honestly, it does. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. That's Keemstar, it's dated. The story of Duke Nukem is really simple. You're a Hollywood superstar who achieved the highest heights of manliness. You regularly save the world from aliens and demons. You slay pussy every hour on the hour. You've got muscles that put Arnie to shame, and you could bench press Chuck Norris, bench pressing the planet. You are the coolest dude in the world, and everyone wants to suck your balls. The game makes it very clear to you through every single NPC that you are the best dude who has ever existed, ever. And you should feel fucking good about it. The game is meant to be a power fantasy to top all power fantasies. And with a very simple setup like that, you'd think this game would be fucking awesome. I mean, just reading the back of the box. Look at this. The king is back. Cocked, loaded, and ready for action. Duke Nukem is pure, unadulterated fun. Bastard alien hordes are stealing Earth's women, but nothing stands between Duke and his babes. Epic ass-kicking, massive weapons, giant explosions. Yes, inappropriate, insensitive, and offensive. You bet. Get ready for the most bitchin' and bodacious time you're likely to ever have. A booze-chugging, stripper-ugly, baddie blasting good time by GamePro. GamePro stopped publication in 2011. You think you're gonna be this hero that everyone thinks you are? Well, be prepared for a mind-numbing experience and pure disappointment. The goal of the story is simple, okay? Get the Sauron-looking portal thing, I don't even care, and stop the alien emperor. Don't even care about that either. To get there, you gotta climb through air vents, swim in the sewers, and shrink down as Tiny Duke to jump on Burger Pat. What the fuck did I just say? Let me read that again. Shrink down as Tiny Duke to jump on burger patties. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, that's the game. I'm not even lying. The game has a lull so random feel about it, and for the entire 8 hours or so playing this god-awful piece of shit, I couldn't describe what the fuck I was doing. Why am I underground? Why am I at this casino? Why am I in the 10th fucking air vent system? Why am I not jumping from a plane? 50,000 feet in the air and going through the streets of Las Vegas, dropping buildings on aliens the size of your mom. What the fuck am I doing? I honestly don't recommend playing bad games, but it's actually hard to describe just how boring and nonsensical this game is. There's no real sense of urgency at any point in the story. You want to save the world, right? But what the fuck am I doing in the back room of a restaurant? Why am I in this nondescript building? I never felt like I understood how one level connects to the last. It would have been better if this game had cutscenes, or if Duke talked like a normal fucking human being, and not some machine, right? All he does is spit one-liners. I fucking hate this guy. This is a game that, and I hate saying this phrase, where you're meant to turn off your brain to enjoy it. But even when you turn off your brain, there's not much to enjoy. I'd rather watch paint dry, quite frankly. And here's the thing, if you have a complaint, you're stupid for having it. Welcome to Duke Nukem Forever. Everything this game does is meant to just waste your time, and I don't know how you can fuck up this bad. The general formula for this type of game is so simple, okay? It's literally the textbook shooter. You shoot enemies, move to the next area. That's it, that's all you gotta do. I don't know how you fuck that up. I've seen people, just amateurs, make more competent first-person shooters on Steam. This is ridiculous. This game works by going through an area, you shoot all the enemies on screen with guns that suck, by the way, then solve a stupid puzzle, and then the game goes like dead silent while you're doing it too. Several times my playthrough, I would legit just pause after killing a bunch of enemies and be like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And once I realize I have to do a puzzle, I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? Well, Wyatt, come on, man, it can't be that bad. No, it is. It is that bad. Dude, let me be real with you, alright? If you die, does this sound fun? If you die, be prepared to wait exactly 45 seconds, I counted, to get back in the game. And I hope you didn't get auto-saved in an area where enemies can spawn kill you. No, that's bullshit. No, it's true. The safe respawn, I think we can all agree on this, right, is a sacred thing of game design. And if that game rule is broken, you're done. Okay, they broke that rule. Imagine in Dark Souls where you go to a bonfire, you spawn, and they just kill you. That would be fucking insane, okay? That would be bullshit. Anyway, back to the puzzles, right? Why do we have puzzles? Just why? It's a Duke Nukem game. And when you do complete 1/3 of that puzzle that was made for a first grader, be prepared for the game to repopulate the map with enemies. That's just bullshit. Do this for several rooms and then have an underwhelming boss fight. You made a good game. I hope your mom is proud of you. Gearbox, I think that's the company that made this fucking piece of shit. Do you ever show like your parents what you do for a living? This is just awful. The game will autosave in logical places, but the entire experience comes off like bashing your head against a brick wall till you beat the game. An example is this, right? If you're driving his big old monster truck in the Grand Canyon and you fall down a pit, the game will just respawn you at the pit that you fell at, just a couple feet back so you can try again. Even the game devs figured out, yeah, we fucked up pretty hardcore. You know what I mean? It's just nonsense. My core complaint with the game is this. Duke Nukem, the character, never feels like a badass. He feels like a penis pumping weenie. From the start of the game till the very end, I hate my character. I hate this character. This is what I like to call the player-character disconnect, where the player isn't feeling the same as the character. And that's kind of important in a power fantasy game, alright? I don't feel like a badass who's killing monsters and getting bitches. I feel like a meathead. I feel fucking stupid. This extends to all aspects of the game, and I think where it's most annoying is with the puzzles. I don't mind that there's puzzles in a first-person shooter. I honestly don't, alright? I like Portal. But I do mind in a Duke Nukem shooter. Like, come on, are you being fucking for real? You'll be killing enemies, and you and Duke are like on the same page. You're doing what Duke Nukem should be doing. Then, after all the enemies are dead, the music just cuts dead. It's silent as shit, and then you need to stop everything you're doing to solve a stupid puzzle. I thought Duke Nukem was some kind of big old jock of all jocks. Why are you adding puzzles in a power fantasy game? What the fuck are you doing? The reason for puzzles should be pretty self-evident. It should be pretty fucking obvious, right? It's to pad out the game. It's shameless and stupid and not fun, and I hate them. Also, they have these sequences with Tiny Duke. You would think this would be like some kind of one-off thing in the game for a quick laugh, right? Duke Nukem just got shrunk down to a midget, right? You know, you pilot an RC car for 10 seconds, but no, it's literally like 1/3 of the game. Someone on the design team has a real hard-on for shrink rays and gigantism porn. Duke will have entire levels where he's shrunken down to complete puzzles. Oh, the two things I love in this fucking game, right? Like there's an entire level, right, where we're at some restaurant jumping on burgers to save this girl. To do what? What's the amazing thing this girl's gonna do? She's gonna open up a door for us. We also have a sequence where we are still Tiny Duke and we're climbing through an air vent shaft. What the fuck? Why the fuck are we here? How am I saving the world being in the 10th fucking air vent? What the fuck is going on? Even when you're Big Duke, the game is designed around going to these random underground areas for no fucking reason. And okay, I gotta get, like, this is another thing that no one thinks about except for me because I'm weird like this. You see this? If these conveniently placed platforms weren't here, our adventure, just theoretically, just let's get real for a second, just stops. It just stops right here, doesn't it? This is what I'm getting upset about. If this branch was not here, how the fuck is Duke Nukem gonna continue his adventure? He physically couldn't, right? He jumps only 2 feet in the air. The game is filled with situations where you're like, why the fuck are you so bad at being a game? Some of the most annoying situations are like doors, alright? I don't get how you mess this up. You have to just build a game to be an asshole, right? Some doors Duke can just kick open because he's got the big steel toe boot, and others you need to use a grenade from the other side to open it. Like, what the fuck, man? That's just stupid. Half the doors I can kick open, except the ones I can't. Just why? And after a while, right, you sort of have to just go through the motions as you play this game. Like, you, the player, know that this is bullshit. If it looks like something that'll advance the game, that's probably where you have to go, right? But since Duke barely fucking talks, he doesn't give the player an idea what to do. He only speaks in one-liners, right? So you're completely detached from this piece of shit, and you're just sort of going through the motions. You're gonna be like, well, that looks like where I have to go, and then Duke says one dumb liner, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna continue the game. You're just dragging your feet the entire time you're playing. I don't like this character. Okay, there's a sequence where instead of opening a door like a normal person, you need to like scale the side of a building and then drop in through the window. It just seems like a lot of hard work to do one basic thing, because you're gonna open the door from the inside, because clearly that's how doors work, right? You can't just kick them down. You can't just throw a grenade and blow it open. You can't give the player choice. Nah, can't do that. This game could have made a joke. They could have worked with that, because someone had to be on the design team and say, this is dumb. And Duke could have brought attention to it, okay? Why the fuck did I just do that? I should be able to open up a fucking door. But there's nothing. Nada. Bupkis. The game has the audacity, alright, later on, to say, oh, we need a sequel. No, it's just stupid. You get DLC and no one's gonna ever spend a cent on this IP ever again. Duke Nukem Forever, or just Duke Nukem the property, is dead in the water after this game. Everything about this game just screams mediocre, and I just wasn't having fun. For those that believe in the phrase, if you don't like it, don't play it, believe me, I will never play this game ever again. But to give a fair review, I need to complete the game, or at the very least, give a meaningful amount of time to it. I know I've been really mean, and I have a lot more energy than I usually do, but this game offended me. This killed a whole day. I had to record this for 8 hours. It just pissed me off. From my time playing Duke Nukem Forever, there are just so many things to complain about that it just overshadows all the nice things they did add. For example, I think it's nice that a lot of the things in the world can be interacted with. I like that you can interact with vending machines, piss in toilets, spin office chairs and use microwaves. I think that's nice. But I think if the developers spent more time making the core game better and worrying about the core game instead of these knick-knack extras, it would have served the IP a lot better. Like, ask yourself, is this really the definitive Duke Nukem experience? Was this the best they could do? I don't think it is. Everything is designed to just annoy the player. For example, when we drive a monster truck, a fucking monster truck, right? You'd think you'd be doing awesome shit, like running over aliens and giant hordes and wrecking villages. You'd think we'd have a giant boss fight where we have to use side-mounted rocket launchers and drive off a ramp and slam into the thing. But no, none of that. What do we do with a cool-ass monster truck, right? Well, the objective is to go to these villages and collect gas tanks because the truck uses a lot of gas. That's the joke. We don't even need the monster truck. We just sort of drive to each town because it's a truck. We don't even take multiple tanks with us. We take one tank, then drive, get stopped, then look for another one. It's a fucking truck. Trucks have beds. Put the gas tanks in the truck bed. What the fuck am I doing? Why? There's a sequence, right? Where there's 3 on the fucking wall. Why are you not taking all 3 of them off the wall? What are you doing? This segment is just so stupid, and it's where I wanted to quit the fucking game. The Grand Canyon sucks. Like, it's so poorly designed. I have no idea why I'm driving around the way that I am. And how the hell does Duke know where to go? Logically speaking, right, we the player, we don't exist. We control Duke, sure, but we're doing the actions that he must do to advance the narrative. Taking the player out of the equation for a second, how does Duke know where the fuck he's going? Like, what the fuck are we doing? In this sequence, you're just looking for the next big ramp to jump off of because that's the only way that we've been advancing this whole time. You have no clear idea where the fuck you're going. You're supposed to go with this giant eyeball in the sky, right? It's fucking Sauron. So why am I just jumping off dilapidated houses? Again, if that ramp wasn't there, I guess Duke just doesn't finish the game, right? It's just conveniently placed so that we can move on. It's just dumb. Also, taking another step back, why are you even driving a monster truck? It's just nonsense, because we legit have access to military planes. Speaking of which, we fly over this area in a military plane. We fly over a large stretch of land to use a turret. What the fuck are we doing in a monster truck? What the fuck are we doing? If you're designing a level, right, if you're a game developer, the logic should be internally consistent. I was thinking the plane segment was just like an appetizer for some big boss fight, and something's gonna knock this plane over. Then, logically, it would make sense for us to resort to Duke's monster truck. But that's not what happens. No, get off the plane. Now come back the way you came. What the fuck, game? Why? What are you doing this to me for? This really raises the question as to why this game has to be 8 or 10 hours long. Why not just take a plane to Sauron and get the fucking game over with? Why am I in air vents and sewers and underground fighting against sea monsters? For some people, they might just say, well, dumbass, it's a video game. But that excuse is bullshit, you know it. Why forgo common sense, cool stuff like planes and jetpacks in favor of Duke climbing through air vents? And it's air vent the game. Okay, if you're a designer and a developer, you have 2 options. Let's give the player a fucking jetpack, right? Let's give him a fucking jetpack. Or he can go in the sewer killing rats and spiders and stuff. Maybe it's a Lord of the Rings reference, and the journey is what counts. But this isn't Lord of the Rings. We don't have a party of characters we've come accustomed to and love. We're Duke Nukem, and we only love ourselves. The gameplay is some of the most stale I've ever played in my entire life. Everything about it is just so mediocre. There's no feedback shooting enemies, and they soak up your entire clip. You have a small variety of weapons, all of which are just awful. The handgun sucks. It's the most basic weapon in all of gaming, and I don't know how you have to disgrace it. Like, I don't know why you did that. I usually love handguns. They're meant to be accurate and efficient weapons. They're not flashy, they just work. it does next to no damage. That's great. The game also gives you no iron sights. That's also really great. I like having to zoom in like 1.5 times, and that's the equivalent of a zoom in. That's awesome. Great job, Duke Nukem. They also fuck up the most fundamental weapon in gaming history, the shotgun. Oh God. You hurt the shotgun. I've heard people praise the shotgun and said it was great. They're wrong. You're only using it because everything else sucks. The shotgun has a tiny reticle. How do you mess that up? It's a spread weapon. And you made the reticle the same size as a standard handgun. If at first you don't succeed, just steal. Copy the shotgun from Halo and use that. But oh, okay. Come on, man. What about the fun explosive weapons? The explosions do more damage to you than the enemies. Oh, that's just great. It means you don't want to use any type of cool weapon now. But how about the sniper rifle? That's gotta be good, right? No, it's not. I'm playing on Xbox 360, and if you use a sniper rifle on a gamepad, that's a sin. It's one of the 15 commandments, one of the tablets that broke, right? You should be arrested for using a sniper on control. What are you doing with your life? I get that the team who developed this game made it in their mom's kitchen. I mean, they proudly show it in the extra section. That's not me making a joke. That's actually the truth. But I just don't care. In terms of games, all that remains is the final product. This game has 1 million people who were part of its creation in the credits. Someone, any one of you million people, had to stand up and say, let's just throw in the towel, okay? This sucks balls. Games are canceled every day. Dreams are shattered every day. Throw in the towel. 12 years of development, and this is what you made. Hey, disgraceful. Now, listen, you guys know me. I love a good boss fight. They're meant to be the best part of any game. But this game has horrible boss fights that just aren't even worth analyzing. There's a very basic boss at the beginning of the game, which is shown again as the final boss. I don't even know anymore, right? I guess that's a nice use of reincorporation, but I think they just did it as a convenience thing. You strafe and you shoot him. Oh, so engaging, so great. Great final boss. Oh, there's other ones, right? There's a good variety of bosses. There's like a 3-tittied alien queen. She gives the player like minimal coverage and spams her underlings. Oh, really big fun. There's also a big eel. You just go left and right and shoot rockets at it. You see a little bit of a trend here. And then there's this giant fucking Cthulhu thing that just has a bunch of spammable enemies that take grenades. I don't even know anymore. Maybe one day I'll open up my boss analysis series and analyze each of them. But for right now, no. It's just not worth it. They are a good escape from the boring enemies, but they're just damage sponges. And while they do extra stuff when you hurt them to a certain threshold, they're so clunky and generic feeling. It's like analyzing a big mook. What the fuck am I doing? I said this before in my previous review, that I like it when a boss fight is properly timed. I don't like to tire my brain on fodder that is just relentless bullshit, okay? But this game just does that. It's relentless bullshit. I got so tired of facing the same generic enemies that have pinpoint accuracy from 50 feet away, firing shotguns. Speaking of which, the generic enemy is this pig-faced demon alien thing. Who cares, right? When they don't have a weapon, they bum rush you. They soon become the staple enemy of this game, and the devs must have felt really proud of them. They take a lot of bullets to put down, and every time you kill them, Duke has some like lame bacon joke. The enemy variety in general is really poor and uninteresting. We have little spider enemies that don't have an optimal weapon to deal with. You'd think the shotgun, the thing that should spread and kill enemies, would be perfect for spiders. No, it doesn't, because the shotgun doesn't spread. So you're left with just punching them, and sometimes you just die because of chip damage. Seriously, I feel like a no damage run of Duke Nukem Forever is impossible because of them. Not that you'd want to keep playing this. Godspeed to those who actively choose to speedrun this garbage. We have generic aliens, and those same generic aliens with jetpacks. You don't get a jetpack because that would be fun, and would require programming. There's also armored versions of those same generic aliens. You don't get power armor because that would be fun, and require programming. We've got Cthulhu Demons that are damage sponges too, and can take your rockets and fire them back at you. That's kinda neat, but again, I hate damage sponges. If I shoot you with a shotgun, you should be dead, especially if I'm doing it at point blank range. We also have big UFO chunguses, or chungai, whatever the plural phrase of that word is. and they shoot fart rockets at you they just take a lot of bullets. That's all the enemies. Yeah, I'm not really impressed. People say there's such a thing as overdevelopment, and I kind of agree with that. This game apparently took 12 years to make, 14 if you ask certain people, but this wasn't some labor of love. For 12 years, you'd expect to see something amazing and be disappointed that it was just okay. This game is fundamentally bad. It's functional though. When I refer to a game as functional, I mean that it doesn't suffer from glitches. I never fell through the environments, I didn't respawn and auto-die, I didn't see characters warp, I didn't have to do some weird workaround to make the game work, right? So congrats, Duke Nukem developers, your QA team did a good job making sure that it wasn't fundamentally broken, but you should have asked them their opinions of the game. Because if I played this game for like just 20 minutes, just even the beginning, I'd say, wow, this is fucking bad. I can't put my finger on it, but everything about it just feels so generic and dated. So many times, alright, I was just yawning as I was playing. You know, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of Duke Nukem. I should be tearing ass through hordes of enemies. But for the most part, you just sort of hide, pop out, shoot, and do that for the majority of the game. On normal difficulty, your skin is like tissue paper. A few hits and your screen goes red. So Duke Nukem is a complete pussy. I guess if we played on easy, the game would be a lot more fun, but honestly, I play all my games on the approved difficulty of normal, and then I raise it, on higher difficulties on second playthroughs, because if I enjoyed the game, I'd play it again, right? I didn't enjoy this game. I don't usually complain about the graphics of a game, alright? But this looks dated. This is supposed to be a 2011 game. That was the year games like Dead Space 2, Gears of War 3, Deus Ex Human Revolution, LA Noire, Infamous 2, and Dead Island came out. A lot of really good looking games came out that year. But this game, it barely competes. Generously saying that. It barely competes with stuff before 2011. Stuff like Halo 3, BioShock, Mirror's Edge, GTA 4, and Devil May Cry 4 all look better, and all of them are better games than this, by the way. I even think the graphics serve to hurt this game. The game has loading issues with textures. The game has these 45-second load screens, which have to be used every time you die, by the way, so just get good to avoid loading. But even after 45 seconds, the game cannot load in all the textures. This might be an Xbox 360 issue, I don't know how it works on PC, I don't even care, but it was honestly distracting. I felt bad for the game with how it loaded. I waited 45 seconds and you still couldn't load in all the textures, like on my own fucking character model. You couldn't load the textures on my goddamn truck. I felt like I had to be polite and just allow the game to load in all the textures before traversing, because it was so embarrassing. Getting real for a second, how does a game make a strip club unfun? Well, you know what, I actually take that back. To be frank, strip clubs aren't even all that fun in real life. You throw money at some whore who takes her top off, big fucking deal. I mean, you got a pool table, and I just don't even care. You got popcorn, and you got a vending machine. That's the strip club. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know, I didn't want to talk to anyone in this game. I legit cheated to look up the password to get past this section. I remember there's a part where you stick your dick in a glory hole, and it's revealed Duke is a one-pump chump. Real men last for the ladies. But I guess it's better than being in a goddamn air vent. Seriously, I think I spent half my time in an air vent, so being at the strip club, it was actually like the best part of the game. It was like a fucking break. Oh man, I have so much of just like random moments where I'm like, this is fucking stupid. And I have 8 hours plus of footage because I had to get more shit to talk about, but I need to get this review over with. Oh my god, it's just so bad. You know what this game reminds me of? It reminds me of Hour of Victory. You remember that game? And no one does. Armic21 reviewed that in like the early days of YouTube. That game was another really terrible shooter. It was released for the Xbox 360 like near its launch. It has that cheap vibe that this game has. And you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? The game is just basic and boring. The enemy AI is just rudimentary. The formula for shooters isn't really tested here, and because of that, it feels so generic. Enemies stay behind cover, they'll sometimes move left or right, and have pinpoint accuracy with every weapon. And I think that's why this game feels so fucking terrible. It's a textbook shooter, and people have grown up. We have games like Halo 3 that have you jump 1,000,000 feet in the air. You have fun vehicles to use, power-ups, and you can tag team with friends. You've got games like Dead Space that have players going through dark areas where you have to dismember your opponents. Gears of War has you hide and rush for cover. Even games that aren't even like super focused on shooting do shooting better than this game. Like let's take an example, GTA 4. It has a competent cover system and has a story you're actually invested in. Duke Nukem Forever is a soulless, boring crap game. You go through areas, shoot enemies, use your steroid power-up to punch big boys, then you hold the presses to do first grade level puzzles. I don't know. You have this main character who's spouting 80s and old movie catchphrases. He's the representation of this old era. You'd think he'd do something cool, right? I don't know. This game might be trying to make some kind of statement about the evolution of games, because even a few characters early on bring up how Duke is from a different time, right? And how things have changed. Games have become so focused on deep stories, good controls, and innovation. Why can't we just go back to the good old days? No, Duke, fuck you. Even the good old days were better than this. You are fundamentally a bad game, Duke Nukem Forever. I have no idea why this has to be this bad. The game feels bad in every aspect. Everything about it is just so unpolished and unfun. The studio who made this, right, were responsible for Borderlands. I don't know the full story behind this game, and I don't really care. But the thing is, Borderlands is a perfectly fine game. If it's meant to be some kind of, symbolic, self-aware statement, then I'm gonna say, yeah, great, you succeeded. I guess, I don't know. At what cost, Duke Nukem? You made a bad game that revels in being a bad game. That's the joke. Congratulations. My overall score, again, is a 3 out of 10. The game follows the basic formula of a shooter, but it has technical issues with graphics and core issues with gameplay. The gunplay doesn't feel fun, weapons don't have that good feedback, the game pads itself out with loading screens, and the big areas that it does load have no value. The game has that cheap feeling that just never gets better. If you want to play Duke Nukem, just play the new Doom game. It does every single thing that this game wants to do, but actually does it, and does it well. Well, that was my review of Duke Nukem Forever. I'll leave a comment to make my day. I'll post them on the screen, and, with that being said, have a good day. I need a beer. Someone fucking shoot me.